Will you get your home loan approved during coronavirus? In today's video, I'm going to break down all the changes that have just recently happened across the lending industries and the impacts it might have on you getting your home loan approved during this time, including one industry that's been completely blacklisted against a few different lenders. Let's dive right in. The federal government is estimating that up to 1 million people could go unemployed as a part of the COVID-19 coronavirus epidemic. So some lenders are starting to get a bit more conservative and tighten up in some areas where they would have otherwise been pretty relaxed 6 months ago. So in this video, I'm going to take you through some of the massive changes that have happened in certain industries and some lenders that are pretty much saying no at the moment. The industries that are unaffected and also what you should do if you get stood down or put onto the JobKeeper payment. So let's start from number one. Unfortunately, some lenders have started to blacklist certain industries and actually just say no to certain income types. This includes income that's generally not super stable. So if you're casual, if you receive a lot of overtime, you're reliant on bonus income, or in some cases, if you're on probation, there are some banks out there and lenders that are just saying no. So from what we can see, this has been largely driven by the lender's mortgage insurers, who usually get involved if you've got less than a 20% deposit, and they sit in the background and say like, hey bank, we'll give you insurance. If that loan goes into default, we'll work it out. So as a result, if you're looking at buying a home with a smaller deposit, the lender's mortgage insurance are being pretty conservative. And like I said earlier, they have blacklisted certain industries, in particular hospitality and gyms and anything that kind of requires face-to-face contact. The flip side is this isn't across the board. There is more than one mortgage insurer in Australia. So it's important to have a chat to your mortgage broker up front, let them know about your situation and your job and kind of what you're seeing on the ground. If it does look uncertain, then maybe now isn't the right time to buy. On the other hand, if you are in essential services, you're a nurse, a doctor, they're still pretty secure and the banks are still certainly lending in those sectors. So what happens in the situation where you might have been stood down from work? Some lenders are actually still being pretty flexible around this, and it's a pretty quickly evolving situation. So this is correct today for some lenders, and it could change completely tomorrow. But from what we're seeing, if you've been stood down in your role and maybe you've been forced to take leave, some banks are treating it kind of like maternity leave, and they're saying, all right, well, if you're going to be off for 2 months, as long as you've got enough funds to cover that 2-month period, and you get a letter from your work saying, yep, Jayden's going to be back in full-time role at the end of this point in this role with this kind of income. Some banks are still considering that, so it's not the end of the world if that's happened. In the case where you might have been forced to take annual leave, the situations are changing pretty rapidly at the moment. The banks are taking into consideration every application on its strengths and merits. So if you've been in a job for 20 years and you've got good savings and good buffer there, then they're going to be more likely to consider it than if you've been in a job for 3 months and you've got minimum savings. So it's all unfortunately a bit case by case at the moment. I think more than ever, it's really important that your mortgage broker takes a bit more time up front to look at your application, look at your situation, understand what you're doing, understand where you're going, and put your case forward to the bank. You really need to put your best foot forward in this situation because you might only have one opportunity or there might only be a limited amount of lenders that you can work with. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit us up at huntergalloway.com.au. Thanks.